looks like I made a connection now, finally. Hey Tati, thanks for hanging out. Thank you 123 for hanging out. There's a few of you here. I'm doing this video because I woke up at about 3 o'clock, okay? Actually, it was more like 2:30 and I couldn't sleep properly. I was getting really disturbed. I was getting some very disturbing feelings and very disturbing thoughts at the very, like, the gut foundations, okay? Can you guys hear me okay now? Hopefully the sound settings are better. I don't know what's happening with YouTube and why it's just a freaking mess with the streams, but it's working now. So I've been doing readings and things, but these are more like personal things, private things. I don't know if you know if I would even call them readings, but there's a theme that I've been noticing, that is that okay, the sound is good. Oh, we can. Okay, thank you, Tati. There's some. I'm at the point. I have to tell you guys. I'm kind of doing this because I feel I have to have like a confessional, and I don't want to put this on my loved ones in particular, but I feel okay to share this with you guys. I'm actually, you know how they talk about the energy of like fulfilling, self-fulfilling prophecies and things, and you have to be so careful with your words. And I'm extremely aware of that. I was born and raised in an environment of extreme, like what I would call hyper abuse, and I've which makes it in some ways quite easy for me to relate to people who've had a bumpy time. Let's put it that way. And as some of you know, the viewers to this channel, it's not 98% female and 2% male, and it's been maybe like a pattern that I've had in my life. A lot of female companionship, female company. I've had some good guy friends. I don't have any guy friends in Los Angeles anymore. Brian died and Ben moved away, and I'm really missing them a lot. So I don't have anyone to hang out with, and I don't really feel a connection with anybody here anymore. I'm not even looking. And so I've been, thank you, Tati. If you don't mind, Tati, I wouldn't mind if we do a personal reading on the side, on the house, because I've got some stuff I'd like to share with you, which, and I don't know, I've been feeling it for quite a long time that I need to share. I'm having a lot of problems with like what I would call self-confidence and depression recently. Normally, I'm a very optimistic person on the inside, and I am at my very deepest core. I'm invincible. I'm like a warrior type, and the reality is that you've heard me slipping into sob stories now and again about the channel, and I keep telling myself, oh, it's just a phase, and it's not. But there's some very disturbing things going on here, and I need to talk with someone, share with someone. I've shared with 3 people now who I trust very deeply. I call them the wise women. But they don't do readings, okay? And they don't really have channels and everything. They're very supportive of the channel. And I'm very scared to share some of my information with other channels that do this stuff, because I've had quite a few channels come here asking like, hey, how do you do what you do? I'd like to do that, and I don't have a response. It's just like, you know, get a camera, get a computer, and open a channel and get a deck of cards. And this what I would call this state of depression, it's getting to the point where it's infecting everything I do. It's infecting the channel, and even though I feel like I'm doing a good job with like the like the Sunday night lives and the Wednesday wellness, and when I do spontaneous live readings and things like that, um, I can create a certain degree of optimism. But the reality is that I'm very close to breaking at this point, and I'm just like you guys. I have breaking points as well, and I'm that close right now to you know, giving it all up. The the numbers and the money don't make any sense to keep going, and because it's been the way things are working here, and I'm doing it for the love of it. Thank you, 123. I see that. It's a little bit. I see what you're saying. It's not a Hollywood stage, and the like I put on a. I guess I could. You know, I like to put on a show. I like to put on a show for you guys. I like to. It's entertainment. It's very illuminating. I like to bring light, and I know I don't look that great at the moment, and I'm trying to. It's the middle of the night here, and I feel kind of sick in my stomach because I'm very frightened at the moment, and I'm I know my own characteristics. I know when I'm close to a break point. I know when I'm close to having a breakdown and things. And I've had a lot of what I would call health problems over a long period of time. And I'm lucky to be alive. But the channel itself has been a very beautiful healing thing for me. I've had a chance to recalibrate myself and let's say bring some life back into my blood, and I feel very deeply loved. Okay, okay, okay. I see your notes there. I will reach out to you, Tati, and we'll follow up. All right, because I have a feeling that I feel a sense of empathy with you, and so I'd like to follow up on this. Excuse me. Um, so in the last few days, I it's every time I go to the end of I'm I have to watch the lunar cycles very very carefully because I'm a very lunar person. Okay, I'm like I have a little bit of every sign, but they're not in ways that would make sense. So it's almost like I'm complete water. There's almost nothing here except like water. And so I tend to be like hypersensitive, hyper vulnerable to whatever energy is around me. If I'm with happy people, I'm happy. If I'm with sad people, I'm sad. If there's trauma, I'm traumatized. If there's love, I am loved. I am loving and I'm loved. So I have to be very, very careful. Um, don't worry, I understand. I don't really like it. I'm doing it because I feel I have to, and so I'm doing it. I only accept that I started the channel like 2.5 years ago because of my invisible friends, my angels, basically pushed me into it, and so I did it, and it's been very very joyful. Okay, there have been periods where it's extremely rewarding, extremely joyful. But this to sound like an old record now, but ever since 9 months ago when the channel was attacked by those two women, the channel has been dead. The and it's making me feel very depressed because I've been going back and forth with YouTube about it, and it's like I know that I am actually creating a negative vortex around myself, around the channel, and it's feeding on itself. And so what I'm dealing with here is that I mean, this is going to sound really disturbing, but I've done a lot. I've done thousands of readings. Okay, I've done thousands of readings, and I've helped a lot of people. And I get a lot of really good comments and feedback. Sometimes I get feedback messages like, you've changed my life. You've helped me. You've stopped me from going over the brink, and things like that. And I get people who've come here. They've tried everything else. You know, they've got their psychotherapists or their partners or their loved ones who are trying to take care of them. And I have some regular clients that I work with every month. Okay, steady, and it's uh, and the channel is still going. And I don't have anything else to do right now. I've got a couple of things on the side. And I know I need to keep going, but I feel like I have to confess to somebody. Like, I don't know how to do it much anymore. Like, what tends to happen is, like, we work with energy, okay? And I'm so aware that things aren't working, and I know that I don't like to be what I would call a victim. Okay, nobody likes to do that because it becomes like it's like quicksand. It eats you up, and then you start to become consumed by fear and paranoia. And I'm used to that. I've had a lot of, let's say, abusive situations in my life when I was younger, and I'm still alive. But some of the themes keep replaying. Okay, about like really like perverse, abusive behaviors uh, that feel as though they're literally like I'm being targeted, and I'm sick of it. I don't deserve it. I don't feel like I deserve it. It's just that like when I first started the channel, I was just so many vicious attacks, but I got over it. And then we had like these 3 episodes of the so-called YouTube apocalypse. We're in the third one right now. YouTube's going through a lot of changes, and I went through a huge change 9 months ago because of those 2 women who attacked the channel. And since they've attacked the channel, it's been in a coma. So Tati, when we meet up, I'm going to show you some statistics and analytics, and you'll see what I mean and why it's so disturbing, okay? And I know that there's a challenge here. Like, I have I have doctors who look after me because of uh, because of the cancer stuff. And I should be dead, but I'm alive. In fact, I'm more alive now than I've ever been in my life. And I've been very lucky to work with some extremely powerful energy healers who basically gave me the chance to live again. And I feel I have some of that energy in me, and I try to share it. I try to bring that to you guys, but I have to be so careful. Thank you, Tati. I see that. Uh, because uh, when I do this kind of stuff, I'm not kidding, I'm not joking. And I wish there was a way to share it better and more safely and more effectively uh, without being. I'm really scared to do things now on the channel that I thought I'd be able to do. And there are things that are happening now that to me are very tragic and very disturbing with the channel. It's making it very hard for me to justify keeping going. Thank you, Morgana. I see that. I see that. I know, I know what you're saying, 1, 2, 3, but I keep thinking, why me? There's thousands and thousands of other tarot channels now, and a lot of them, I'm sure, are doing really loving things, and there are people out there. Uh, Frittily, I think it was you, wasn't it? Or was it, oh man, you know that thing about, what was it, divine water, something, deep diver water or something? So I watched that. I think I told you I watched that. It was about how to not be a victim and how to rise above it. And the basic theme is that, you know, it's just about energy. Okay, I know that, and I know you guys know that too. And I do so much work here. Uh, I was talking with someone earlier yesterday, like she was asking very kindly, like, TL, why are you struggling so much? Why is this becoming so hard for you? And you could be putting, videos every day. You could live stream every day, and you'd be famous, and there'd be money coming in and things. And the reality is, it's much harder for me to do than you would imagine. And so I watched that thing, and I kept thinking, okay, that's great. I know exactly what you're talking about. He even mentioned, um, uh, thank you, 1, 2, 3. I mean, I've done mediumship. I've worked as a medium. Okay, I know how to do it. I don't really like doing it, but it's almost like you can't pay me enough to do this stuff anymore. I met James Van Prague once, and he was having a similar moment just like this. And I didn't stay with him very long. It was too disturbing. I don't know if you know who James Van Prague is, but he's one of the world's top, if not the top medium. There's about 5 of them. And uh, it's like, I don't know how the ones who do it with such ease, I don't know how they do it. I know that Fritley would understand. I know Ubasti would understand. Thank you, Tati. You've got your own channel now, so I know you understand. All I want to do, it's so simple. All I'm trying to do is bring in the healing power of love. Bring it in here, help people to own it in here so we can be loving and be loved. It's that simple. But simple's not easy. So what I think is happening is that for myself, uh, um, it's that, like, if I would listen, if I could give a reading to myself, I was giving myself a type of like a pep talk, or how to, I would say basically like something like what 1, 2, 3 is saying there. I would say it's a question of frequency, it's energy. I would say it's about energy management. And so my task now is to raise my energy frequencies up to here even further, even further. And it's hard enough to maintain it as it is. I don't see myself as some kind of guru or some kind of like preacher god type thing. I don't predict the future, although I have had very precise predictions come true for a bunch of people, including making a lot of money and losing a lot of money. And so I have a certain degree of awareness. Except my personal interests are to do with music and having songs and doing things. Thank you, Morgana. Yes, it is. I have to do that, but I'm at a point where, here's the thing, Morgana. I'm already heavily protected. I have I have guardian angels that you would not believe. I'm not kidding. I've been nearly dead so many times because of accidents or assault or self-abuse or abuse and disease. And I've carried a lot of what I would call internal stress, and a lot of that turned into really life-threatening diseases. And I'm still overcome. I'm still here. I'm still alive. Okay. I don't know if I'm being targeted anymore for Italy. I think I've got to the point where the channel has been so devastated and so crushed, it's literally like a corpse. It's just like, well, like a shaking corpse. And somehow or other, I have to elevate myself out of this. And I've got some ideas. Um, like it's almost like the way I was being challenged. It was a very loving challenge, but like, TL, all you have to do is raise your energy from here up to here, and you can't drop yourself to there. Okay. It's since I was a child, fertility. It's random, huh? Uh, so I've got some ideas. Okay, and I'm gonna be rolling them out very, very gently, very carefully. I have to be very careful with this. Uh, because I mean, I'm sure it's been done many times before on YouTube some way, somehow. Uh, uh, about having guests and things. I know what you're saying, Basti, about purging the pain. I'm actually quite good at purging pain. I've had to deal with a lot of pain. I've been on very heavy pain medications for years, but that was long ago because of other accidents and things, and I was essentially a junkie back then, and it's not fun. It's not fun to have your whole life living at the mercy of being one step away from dead. Like, in other words, like, what's the point in being here? Now, the thing is, right now, I know for a fact, deep inside of me, I'm very clear. I've done a lot of clearing, a lot of purging, and I do self-healing practice every day. Anything from 10 minutes to an hour every day. Like people do yoga, I have my own like homemade thing that I do, and it's really powerful, it's really effective, and I've shared it with a few people, but it's actually quite difficult to share this and coach it and teach it online. And maybe we'll have a chance to come back and do that, but for now, I'm just doing it on myself to keep myself going. It's about maintaining the energy, keep the frequencies good, keep the loving vibrations very high. I know you guys understand that, okay? I know you get it, and you guys know that I get it, and that's why we have the empathy that we have here on the channel between myself, like as a provider, as an instrument, and you guys who enjoy it. So it's very mutual. Um, I value you guys very, very highly. The channel is extremely valuable to me. It has literally opened up my life in ways that I've never done before, even though I've been on stages, like under like spotlights and things ever since I was a tiny little kid. And I never really enjoyed it that much, but it seems to always keep coming back. Like, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. And so I'm doing it. But what I'm sharing with you right now is sometimes I really don't like doing it. I get really, like when I come on to do the show, I get really shit scared that I'm going to get attacked again. Because I don't know what's out there. I don't know who's out there. And I actually haven't had a big attack recently. The only attack I've had is what I feel is happening from YouTube itself, which I don't understand, except from what people are telling me. But again, I don't understand it. Why this channel? Why this? I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense at all. Thank you, Fritterly. I see that. I see that. I see what you're writing here. I see what you're saying. And I know you guys understand. I know the here's the thing. I've helped a lot of healers, okay? Energy healer, yoga type healers, people who do Reiki, acupuncture, pranic energy healing, quantum healing. I've helped them because a lot of them get to the point where they can't handle it. Because when you're working with energy healing, it's super ultra high frequency stuff, and it's literally through and with your hands, okay? And so typically what happens with people who work as energy healers, they have to do work on themselves to maintain, let's say, their clarity, their their calibrations, their the love energy that they have, because you cannot do it without a loving energy. I know of energy healers who actually abuse the energy field and they try to turn it to their advantage, which I think is literally you're playing with the devil when you do that kind of stuff. Uh, I've already dealt with the PTSD for Italy. That's over. I had a lot of therapy and counseling about 10 years ago because I was like this the whole time, and I was on a lot of drugs, and I had a lot of therapy and counseling and treatment, and I've matured since then, and I'm now much more, let's say, have much more equilibrium, and deep inside, I am like insanely happy. And what I can't understand is why isn't the rest of the world this way? Why wouldn't the rest of the world want to be uh, in the condition that I have in my heart? Okay, why wouldn't they? Okay, um, yeah, why wouldn't they? But some people don't. When I was at the YouTube event the other night, I felt a bit strange because everybody there was dealing with things that are like, I would say much more understandable in like the genres that usually fill up the YouTube landscape. And when I started the channel, there was probably only a couple of hundred, maybe a couple of hundred tarot and astrology people. And even then, I kept thinking, I don't want to go up in that world with these people. Frittily, yes, I do have PTSD. It's still here, but I don't have to take any medication anymore. I deal with it face on. Anyway, so I don't know what's going to happen right now. There have been, I've been for the last few days. Every time I get to the end of a lunar cycle, I get pretty sad because it's like my energy kind of wilts and then it's picking up again. It's going to pick up again, and this Virgo thing is theoretically very substantial and healthy for me personally. So I'm going to do the best I can to make the best of this. But it's also triggering some very, very challenging things. Hmm. Oh, thank you, Tati. Maybe I should. I don't know where I would go. I really don't know where I would go. I've been to some really pretty good counselors and therapists, and now I'm the one who's helping people. But you're right. Maybe I could, sometimes healers need healing, So maybe I'm at that point. I'm not really sure. We can talk about that, okay? And that's actually kind of why I came on to do this. I mean, normally I wouldn't get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and do a live stream, but I woke up and I was feeling so, so strange that I knew if I didn't get up and do something and connect with people, I would end up in a state of screaming paranoia. Okay. And so I came here and I did this little thing, and I'm really glad I'm doing it because it's helping me get out of myself. Like, I'm not insane. I know I'm not insane, but I feel like I'm borderline again because I've been at the point where I'm this close to pressing the kill button on that whole channel. I'm literally like, I can't do this anymore. There's no point in it. The channel is dead. It's not going anywhere. I've been working really hard for the last 9 months, and I've made 63 subscribers. And a lot of that's happened because every subscriber that I make is matched by a subscriber that is removed. So it's very hard to run a channel under those conditions. It's extremely hard. It's almost impossible. Hey, fertility group therapy. That's what we do with the members thing on first Fridays. Mm-hmm. Oh man. I'm really glad you guys here and I can actually hang out with you and talk with you like this. Just doing like with the chat on the screen, it's really helping me. It's really essentially it's just a rant. I'm just trying to get this energy out of me so I don't feel insane. Because paranoia is a real thing. The fear is real, and I can like, what's that fellow? What was it? Infinite. Anyway, the diving deep person. When I saw that video, I resonated very clearly, and it made total sense. I could have almost made the video myself. It's just that I needed to see it, and I'm glad I saw it and I watched it, and I understand that everything that's happening, I can't take it personally. So what do I do with this? What are we going to learn from this? Treat it as a huge, massive learning experience, and so that's what's happening. This is turning into a learning experience for Tarot Lumination, and so I have to make decisions just like you guys. So am I going to like press the delete button and just kill this whole thing because I can't take the pressure anymore? Or am I going to take my finger off the button and live with the pressure? So I know that when I did this little live thing right now, it was giving me a chance to breathe again. Because literally, I could go to my computers right now. I could go through my, go to the channel and go into the management systems, and there's a button. I could just delete everything. Okay, I could just shut the whole thing down. And the thing is, if I do that, I would be living in a vacuum. And I know what it's like to press a delete button on a person or a relationship or a situation or a career. And you go into a massive vacuum, and it becomes even more terrifying than the condition in which you were just living. And, so I'm not going to do that. And so basically, it's down to the decisions. When I do on Sunday nights, some of you have been there, like when we do this big heart spread. That's actually my favorite spread, but it brings out too much energy. It's too big. It's too hard to read for entertainment purposes on the YouTube channel. I can do it in personal readings, so I pretty much stopped using it anymore in a live setting, except for the Sunday Night Live. But like when you get into these readings, it's very much like some of you will understand. Like Tati, you'll probably feel it, or actually, pretty much all of you here are more or less borderline psychic anyway. And so you would understand when you get into those frequencies, you are an instrument. You are literally an instrument, and energy's flowing. You could say you're a conduit, you're a psychic, you're whatever. And I know how to. I've been paid to do that. I was a paid consultant to take care of these people, so I know all about it. But I'm still just a guy with issues right now. Like right now, you're like kind of seeing me at my worst. Uh, uh, because I'm a human. I can't be all sparkles and light all day every day. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how people do it. I don't know how those channels do it, where they're just pumping out endless streams of tarot videos, and I think they're just drinking a lot of energy drinks or something, because it's just like a hose. And I know I don't like to operate that way, so I don't. But I know that YouTube, as a platform, they favor like continuous, unrelenting output of content. Even if it's junk, they don't care, just so long as you're putting stuff out and it attracts eyeballs. Okay, so yes, fertility, yeah. Yeah, we all have issues. Typically, I guess what's happening here tonight, I just realized I needed to vent. I couldn't, I don't want to call up a suicide hotline. There are no, I don't want to go over to the emergency clinic. I don't want to do anything like that. I just wanted warmth and comfort. I'm very warm. It's nice and comfortable here, but I wanted comfort here so I don't feel like I'm going insane. Uh-huh. There you go, Tati. So we're on the same page. We're on the same page, Tati. Yeah. Actually, I've done that a few times. I've done videos. It's just things that I like to do, and I like to do little prank fun things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, Love's Light. Greetings. Thank you for hanging out. It's 5 o'clock in the morning over here in Los Angeles, and I couldn't sleep, and so I came up and put a little thing on it. Fertili's doing another garden tour. So, yeah, sometimes I can't help it. Sometimes like a spirit will come into the reading or come into the room or the stage or come through. Like, let's if I'm doing a reading for somebody and let's say the portals are open and it's very sweet and comfortable. Um, um, yeah, poor Abasti. It's, I would say it's not fun, but these things happen when you put yourself in those frequencies where you're highly vulnerable. Your heart energy is completely wide open, and so what like you guys know it. A lot of you here would understand that because you're pretty much you know how like attracts like like we're resonant. Everyone here is resonant. So like if you didn't like what you're hearing here, you would just go off and watch something else or do gaming or watch something about cars or shampoo or politics or whatever. But you're here, and so typically like what happens on the channel, we get a lot of people who are very empathic by nature. And so you would all know, like Love's Light, for example, like if you're a professional energy healer, for example, and you have to deal with a client who's deeply traumatized and they've been through all their therapists and doctors, but they're still in pain here. And so they end up reaching out into the alternative world, doing all the, yogas and acupuncture and chiropractic, and eventually they get towards energy healers and Reiki and stuff like that, and then they end up at Tarot Lumination or something like that. Uh, so it's a question of frequency, and so a lot of us are operating at these frequencies where that's just who we are and how we are and the way we are. One of the downsides of those frequencies is if you lose it, it's like a serious drop to go from here to here. And then to get back up to these frequencies, it's like trying to send a rocket into space, It takes it makes it sound easy, like if you're very good at like self-proclaiming all the time, all day, every day, and it becomes like this show thing, uh, then I think how it happens is you're playing into the like the rock star guru type of thing, and I'm not sure. I've never really been attracted to that. I just like regular people, And so I don't really get a lot of readings. I don't watch a lot of YouTube. I hardly watch YouTube at all. You know, it's kind of strange, even though I got a channel. So it's like energy when you're operating. Like each one of you here, Ubasti, Tati, Fritili, 1, 2, 3. Let me see who else loves light, and I guess everyone else went home. I'm not sure. But anyway, when you're operating at those frequencies, like it's almost like my day job. Every day when I wake up, my first call to action is to self heal. It's the self healing, so I can remove all this stuff. Like normally, everything that I'm ranting about with you guys right now, I can heal all of that myself. I can release myself from victimhood. I can release myself from things like cursed energy or events and circumstances that are very hostile, very toxic. I can recover. And I know that I've been through so many like life and death situations. I know what it's like to be on a deathbed and then have to come out of that. And some of it is to do with sheer willpower, the will to live. I would call it the will to live. I don't know if you've ever heard that expression before, but uh, there are people who've been through a lot less than I have, and then they commit suicide. And some of that's because they can't handle things or they don't have the will to live. There are people who've been through as much as I have and probably a lot more, and they live life as though everything's just fine all day, every day. And they've done all their self healing, and they probably do things where they're just constantly giving and helping uh, because they know how satisfying it is. So there's a kind of a balance, and I'm trying to find the balance right now. What did you say, Bertolini? Yeah, that we have. So, in the more traditional medicine that we have over here in Los Angeles, Los Angeles is actually saturated with healers. That's one of the biggest industries in this city, especially here on the west side where I live. There are so many doctors and hospitals and therapists and energy healers, and frankly, some of it is really borderline. Some of the energy healing stuff is, um, I don't know, a little bit. It's more like what I would call a pyramid scheme. You have to be very, very, very careful. Um, well, Ubasti, right now, my tummy is feeling very like queasy. I get butterflies pretty easily if I know I'm going to do the shows when I'm doing the show. Uh, yeah, I a lot of people fly and travel to Los Angeles for healing. I know people think of LA as like, oh, it's like movie stars and beach and vacation and gangsters and rap and lots of traffic and violence. And yeah, we have all of that. Los Angeles is it's a very dirty city. It's very grubby. It's very, very messy because it doesn't rain here, so a lot of dirt just accumulates. So but because it's sunny and warm, a lot of the times it's very conducive for people to feel good. So it's very common for people to come here and they get the elation that comes with the climate. And then once they reach a plateau, they have a breakdown. It's probably got to be the capital of breakdowns. I mean, there are so many people who have like these psychic soul implosions here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hold on, let me just read the notes on the chat there. That's important. Yes. Yes, thank you, Love's Light. They should almost put that in as a warning. If you're going to set out to be a healer, especially an energy healer, please understand that you're going to encounter a lot of pain and you're going to have to, some of that's going to stick to you. And then you have to end up healing yourself. Healer, heal thyself. Healer, heal thyself. That's one of the things that I'm actually best at doing. more than anything else, is helping other healers to heal themselves so that they can get back into, their frequencies again. But for that to happen, I have to do a lot, humongous amount of self-healing myself to stay capable. And I'm just having a bit of an implosion at the moment. Yeah. Well, Basti, we could have a long conversation about that. uh, the pretty much everything from my knees up towards my navel is very messed up. I'm just letting you know. I'm not going to give any details here, but pretty much everything from, if you can imagine that area between the knees and the navel, all that area in there has had a lot of damage, okay, since childhood. And so let's say it leaves scars, and I'm still, like anyone who's had any kind of like injuries, it's a sensitive spot. I would say yes, okay? Yeah. Yes, I think it is good to talk about these things. Yeah. I'm really glad actually I did this little show. I'm really glad I did it. It's helping me. It's really, really helping me to stabilize myself because I really didn't know what to do. There's only so much that I know how to do in terms of self-healing. So, and I have some really loving people in my life, okay? But ultimately, all healing is self-healing. And so we have to do that. And so you get to the issue of the will to live. And I think what happened, like with this new moon and coming into it, it really exposed a lot of the vulnerabilities for me in terms of like the details of what's working and what's not working. And now I have to walk the talk. I have to refine, cleanse, purify, uh, create new habits in that particular part of my life. In accordance with the really powerful Virgo energy. It's very, very good energy, but one of the things that I already know, and even though I know this stuff in hand, I'm still not immune, okay? What can happen is that I'm placing such high expectations and demands on myself, and they're not, let's say, manifesting to the degree that I would like. That feels very disappointing. I can be a bit obsessive, I can be a bit of a perfectionist, and I like things to be a certain way, and I can be a bit of a control freak. And so when things don't work, when they should work, and there's no reason why they can't work, I start to go absolutely in freaking sane. And I try to fix it, and I'm learning how to do it in a more gentle way right now. So, for example, with the channel, I know that just like you guys, I have issues. You guys go get help. You do what you guys do. Hey, Joe. I see you, Joe. Hey, Joe King. It's daytime for Joe over there in I think is it Berlin? Joe's in Berlin. Thank you, Ubasti. I'm actually, I can usually diagnose myself pretty well with my hands. When I do energy reads on my own body, I can tell where I need to work because I do body scans, like they teach you in Reiki and things like that, how to scan your body for conditions and for ailment. So I kind of I do a lot of that already. But again, I think like what we were talking about earlier, and I think what Love's Light was mentioning is that it's actually it's work. It's work, and it requires deep, deep self-love to get to the point where you say, okay, I do have the will to live. I do have the will to heal. I know that the only way to heal this is through myself. A healer, heal thyself. So I already know these things. But it's like the pressure is increasing. Now I have to up my game even more. In other words, the way I'm reading it, if I was interpreting myself or doing a reading for myself, okay, um, it's like what the Virgo stuff. is telling me is that I have to clarify, refine, purify, and organize my own practices at the very foundation of my life, so that things are better. How that is, I'm not sure. And it's a lot of it is to do with the channel and getting the channel to work better and to getting the channel to survive properly and to become functional, even even though it's almost impossible to do that now through this platform. So I'm working on other ideas about what to do and how to do it. And there are some really big challenges that go with it, because I know, uh, you know, I've seen some of the numbers on some channels, like if you have a good channel and you're up into the 50, 100, 150, 200,000 range, and there's tarot channels that have grown astronomically and very, very quickly to very, very big uh, in that regard, and they're making good money. They put out a lot of huge amounts of content, and some of them do, like products and branding things. Whatever they do, however they do it, they're making a living. You can actually make a living at that point. And so I'm mostly doing this for the love of it. I'm doing it because I love doing it, and I love the reward in here, and it would be nice to get it to the point where it was actually sustainable. Uh, so it isn't really just a hobby. So we'll see how that goes. I'm trying not to. Yeah. So, hey, Fritili, I have to confess something to you. There are periods when I can be hyper competitive. When I was a little teenager, I was involved in this sport. It's called rowing. It's where you do this stuff. I don't know if you've seen that. And they have very, very long, skinny boats. And I was very, very, very good at this. And I was offered a scholarship to Cambridge University in England based on my abilities to do this and win. Okay. And a lot of that was because I had an extreme hyper will to win. I'll win, like hyper, like I am going to do whatever I have to do to win. So there is a part of me which is like hyper competitive. But I know it's a complete waste of time. It doesn't even really matter on YouTube, because you don't have to do this to compete. You can just do what you do, and who cares? It's not actually a competition. Okay. Thank you, Fritili. I see that. Yeah, competing against the past. Yes, for sure. Yeah, I'm heavily haunted by the past, and I've done huge amounts of self-healing to redeem myself from the past, to release the past, to move on. But on a day like today, for example, uh, things creep up. You were talking about PTSD earlier. Sometimes I get flashbacks of certain things, and it's like being punched in the face or something. And it comes from out of the blue. So uh, even though I've done a lot of self healing, hmm sometimes I get flashbacks. Sometimes I'll just wake up and kind of go, I know all of you know what that is. And to me, it's to do with unresolved, unhealed fear, trauma that's still buried deep in your physiology, okay? Deep inside the physiology. And so it comes out again. Uh, I don't take any medications for PTSD or trauma or abuse or psychotherapy, anything like that. I've done all that years and years ago. I know what it's like. I've been through it. And the only things that I really do is have my little sip of wine and whiskey in the evening. That's about as heavy duty as I go for medication now. And I feel very blessed that I can actually afford a little glass of wine now and again. Chronic PTSD. Is that what it is? CPTSD? Yeah, there were certain times where I couldn't stop myself shaking. It was very hard for me just to get to a doctor, just to get to a clinic. And some of those medications were very powerful. And but also they did save me. They gave me a chance to recalibrate my life. So I'm very grateful. Oh, Basti, I'm sure you do. I'm absolutely sure you do. Yeah. Ay, ay, man, this is very strange. This is very. I feel very comfortable, but it's all very also very strange because there's no show. I don't know what I'm doing here. I haven't done any readings. Uh, there's no there's no stage. I'm just hanging out. And anyway, I think I need to get some sleep, people. I think I need to try and get some more sleep because we're going to do a show tonight on Sunday night, okay? And I need to be in good shape, so I'm going to try and get a little bit of rest. And so, how about this? We ask for the healing power of love to fill our bodies from up above. We ask for the healing power of love to fill our minds from up above. We ask for the healing power of love to fill our hearts from up above. We ask for the healing power of love to fill our souls from up above. I ask for the healing power of love to fill your relationships from up above. We ask for the healing power of love to fill our loved ones from up above. We ask for the healing power of love to fill our homes from up above. We ask for the healing power of love to fill our lives from up above. Okay? Bless you. Bless you all. Thank you for being here. You basically saved me. You saved me. You guys saved me. I'm feeling a lot better now that I've had this talk and kind of get it out of my system a little bit. And we'll follow up, okay? All right? I'm going to close it down now. Just keep it very, very simple. You guys, love thyself. Take care of yourself. If you need anything, check in. I'll do whatever I can, okay? Be loving, be loved. Love thyself. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Hello, Sheila Marie. Bye-bye, Sheila Marie. Oh, thank you, Sheila Marie. I'm sorry I had to go. It's like 5 in the morning here. I need to get some sleep. We're doing a show tonight, okay? Bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.